Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining for this webcast. Today, we're going to talk about hackers want your data. My name is Yigal Behar. I have experience working as a cybersecurity consultant in Avnet Deloitte in Toshan, Israel. I worked there since 2000 to 2004. We help governmental agencies such the Prime Minister Office, Social Security Administration, banks, and other private companies. In 2004, I arrived to America and I founded my second business providing cybersecurity solutions for the small business companies. We have a partnership with CPA firms, law firms, helping their customers with cybersecurity challenges that they have. Who are you? And this is for you. Are you a small business owner, an executive, maybe you're a company employee, or anyone that is actually looking to learn more in order to prevent data theft and keep their privacy in a good place? So what we're going to cover today? Today we're going to cover why traditional solutions won't work anymore and what you can do about it. And this is essentially covers the standard solutions out there that you can find with any business today, small to large to enterprise. All have firewalls, all have endpoint protection such as McAfee, Norton antivirus. Maybe you have Sophos, maybe you have other kind of solution that you are using in order to protect your company. The problem with those solutions is that they don't work anymore, and we're going to touch exactly what are the issues with those solutions. Which brings me to the second topic is the 2019 threat landscape and cybersecurity trends. This is going to help us to understand why those solutions cannot do their work anymore and what we can do in order to improve our cybersecurity posture. And lastly, of course, what you can do today to improve your cybersecurity posture. Ultimately, we are going to cover the steps not to be a sitting duck, because as of now, companies don't do what they need to do. They don't have the priorities set. Even enterprises don't have the priorities set correctly. And even some of them don't understand how security really works and what need to be done in order to improve the cybersecurity posture. And I keep repeating the cybersecurity posture, but this is something that is ongoing process where you do certain steps. It's like in a business that you try to improve your business, but you do it in small steps. And so cyber is also about making those changes in order to improve your security. Since you joined this webcast, we have free bonus, 500 value bonus. This is a policy, information technology, access and control and use policy. You should let your employees sign it because this is going to help you when you want to come and improve your security. And if you monitor them without telling them that you are monitoring them, it will cause you problems later on if this is something that will come to court. Use that wisely. Let your lawyer check it, review the document, making sure that the document is probably written, or there's some modifications that need to be done. Of course, you're going to need to change your company name and let the employees sign it. Every year, you need to let them sign this, re-sign this, and put this in your company handbook. The evolution of crime. Ultimately, crime has developed over the years in a way that crime was done with a gun, and the impact was really low. You could impact only a few people, handful of people. But with the recent years, with the cybercrime, now every attack can affect millions of people across the world with just an ease of if you have a keyboard and a mouse and a computer, you're all set to make a damage. And if you do Googling, you search all over the place, you can find good tools that can help you. This is a case study, Equifax case study. I love this case study because it really shows the problem in that graph. And here, I want to show you the problem that all companies have, large, small, enterprise. What's lagging here is the ability to do those changes. So I'm going to present now the issue. In February, mid-February, a vulnerability was found in a component that web servers are using in order to host certain services. Now, that vulnerability allows to penetrate the network, basically owning the server, and from that you can try to jump into another location, typically is the database, and pull all the data from that database. In the beginning of March, a patch was released, and later on an advisory was released, letting the public know that this is the vulnerability and this is the patch, this is what you need to do in order to fix that hole in the component. And in about mid-May, those hackers were able to penetrate Equifax web server. And now over the next 2.5 months, they're just on the network, gathering all the data that they need, set up another backdoor in case that somebody will find their activities and will shut down that channel. So they created another channel just to make sure that they have the ability to stay there for longer term. So mid-May, the hackers on Equifax servers, this is the time where the server was breached, and then they were able to detect it only by the end of August. Then it took them a day after they detected the breach. It took them a day to download that patch, install that patch on that server, and basically getting this resolved. Now, this is the problem that I'm talking. So there's two issues here, as you can see. One, that the company doesn't know the inventory of products and servers that they have and components that they have, and the need to patch as soon as a patch is released. So that breach, to prevent that breach, you just had to install the patch, right? This is the simple answer. Just install the patch and you are safe. You're good to go. The second problem here that I want to make out, that the time that they detected, so the detection time took them 2.5 months to detect it, which is a very, very long time. It used to be sometimes it's longer, and depends on in the company, it depends on many factors, but this is the FBI actually says that on average it takes about 14 months to detect a breach. In this case, it took them 2.5 months, which is they are a little bit better. But now let's talk about what happened after the detection. So they fixed the issue. Now what? So what was stolen? 145 million records were stolen that have passport number, social security number. It's also affected the Canadian citizens, and of course, US citizens. And what happened with that, the fines are really high, and the reputation damage is really not helping this company, Equifax. So this is a recent update from May 28th, 19. Equifax breach fallout hurts it with a credit rating agency. Moody's has downgraded Equifax rating because of the 2017 network breach. This week on July 22nd, I got this update where Equifax now will need to pay at least $650 million in largest ever data breach settlement. Now, let's take this example and use it for a small business. What happened to a small business if it's going to suffer that kind of a data breach? And apparently, statistics show that for a small business, after suffering a data breach, it takes them 6 months and then they need to shut down. So after 6 months of a data breach for a small business, it will cause them to shut down. This is not an easy thing for a small business where your resources are limited. And unlike Equifax that have deep pockets that they can pay those millions of dollars and maybe won't affect them, maybe for a short term it will affect them, but later on they will be able to get back to their where they were before. Now, another thing to mention that the few people had to leave. the CTO, Chief Technology Officer, the CIO, the person that's responsible for the security, the Chief Information Security Officer, and also the CEO had to step down from the company due to this 2017 network breach. And I know some of you would say, you know, we were small, nobody would bother to hack us. There's nothing in value that they can use and breach us. And you're absolutely wrong with this assumption, and I'm going to show. And again, this is based on statistics with different research that was done. This one is a research was done by Poneman Institution back in 2016. They came and asked small companies about cyber attacks. And they said 55% said that they suffered a cyber attack in the past 12 months. Other respondents said that 50% suffered the data breach. And a data breach means that somebody was able to extract data from the systems. Only 14% say they have the budget and they have the expertise and the tools in order to at least prevent some of it, at least reducing the risk, and have the ability to detect a data breach. This is another case with a Spring Hill Medical Center. I got this update again 2 days ago, and they hacked again. So twice or hacked in a period of a short time. And this means that something is wrong in that place. Somebody doesn't know what they are doing. They don't have the right priorities when it comes to cyber protection. So let's talk about the 2019 threat landscape and cybersecurity trends. Now, this is important to know because it's going to help us to understand why your solutions are not good enough anymore. So here we see the malware trends over the last 9 years. As you can see with that graph, you cannot deny that it goes in millions of different types of malwares that spread all over the world and attacking small, large, and medium businesses all over the world. This is a survey from Webroot threat report for 2017. They say 94% of all malware is unique to a single endpoint. Traditional signatures are useless. Now, this is answer the question that I put earlier in the beginning of this presentation, and therefore, what you have now cannot really do that much. And until your antivirus company gets the malware, or at least that they can analyze that malware and release a signature, it will also take some time until you get it. Maybe you won't get it on time because your computer updates itself every day, which is not enough. Now, if you have a malware that was released, but is not in the signature, right, on your computer, when it's going to hit your computer, either by email, like a phishing email, your computer or the solution that you have there won't be able to detect it because it doesn't know anything about this, because it doesn't have the signature. Not to say that there are solutions that are better than what you have now. And again, this is something that you're going to need to figure it out later on. From that report, 90% of successful data breaches caused by user error, and this is specifically to people clicking on links or open attachment where they get by email. This is one of the common attacks that are used now. I can mention other attacks like drive-by, but it's not going to tell you anything for now. But most of the attacks are coming from phishing, and you need to train your employees how to spot a phishing email. So this is, for example, a phishing email that I got, and I decided to have it on this slide deck because it shows really the issue. So one of the things that you can see, it says FedEx package. FedEx never is going to send you an attachment. You see there's a zip attachment. FedEx won't send you an attachment. It's going to send you just an email without an attachment. Later on, when you open the attachment, as you can see, it's become a JavaScript that now is going to run on the computer and will download a ransomware. This is another example of ransomware. This is a WannaCry that was very popular last year. It was all over the computers all over the world. What it does, the ransomware encrypts the data on the computer. So now when you want to try to open a document, it's not going to be recognized by the system because the file was changed. And all the data on the computer was encrypted. It's also encrypting data on servers. If you have a file shares, right? If you have a file server where you keep all your files, those files also will be encrypted. I would like to add that if we have also a cloud application like a Dropbox, it's also not safe because this kind of ransomware will find that Dropbox and encrypt the data. So don't think that if you have a cloud application, those applications are also vulnerable because you have access to those cloud application. Therefore, those also will be encrypted. This is another example of a minor malware. This is now the hackers, again, changing tactics. Instead of encrypting your computer, said, okay, we can use your computer in order to generate cryptocurrency. And why to encrypt your computer? Now your computer is not going to be usable, so let's change it and use your computer as a resource to mine malware. Mine cryptocurrency. This is another example of miner. This is called Jackin malware. It's using a website. So they hack website, they embed the code for mining a cryptocurrency, and this is without your knowledge. Now, this is very important to mention because all those solutions that you have now, even the firewall will be able to detect it because you're going to a legit website, and therefore we won't be able to detect it. Also, your antivirus solution will know because there's no downloaded file, there's no actual file that is being saved on the computer. Because remember, if you want to create a signature, you need to have a physical file in order to create a signature. So if you don't have a signature, how would you be able to detect it? This is what's called fileless attack, where there's no files actually be downloaded to the computer. Therefore, traditional solutions won't be able to detect it. Another danger is IoT, Internet of Things. This includes network printers, IP security cameras, modem, routers, Nest, all of that. And those solutions, if you don't know what you're doing, you can open yourself to another host of issues, another host of vulnerabilities. So let's take an example, network printer. Last year, researchers from Checkpoint found that those printers have a vulnerability. All those multifunctional printer where you can scan, you can print, right? Those devices, multifunctional devices, have a vulnerability where an attacker can dial into the modem, to the fax, send a specific code to the fax, and cause the fax to spit out all the faxes were transmitted over that fax to another fax number, so they can get all the information that you have on that printer. Now, if we think about it, a network printer it's an actual computer. It's not a printer. It's a computer that can print, but you don't see it because it has as an outside as a printer. Like it doesn't have a keyboard, it doesn't have a mouse, so maybe it's not a computer, but it's actual printer. So by now, I'm sure everybody is saying, okay, this is really bad. What can we do now? How can we help ourselves to prevent those attacks? Or at least in security, we're talking about risk management. And risk management, what we're trying to do is reducing the risks to an acceptable level, right? So if I do certain things, I will reduce the risk. Now, another thing that you want to consider is having a cybersecurity insurance. This will help you if something happens. They will be able to pay some of the damages if something happened, God forbid. At least you have like a safety net. So this is the last part that I want to touch. 3 action you can take today. The first one is updates. You want to update everything that you have: computers, laptops, servers, firewalls, printers. Update anything that you have in order to prevent a known vulnerability. I want to tell you is interesting about that a lot of the vulnerabilities, because people don't patch, there's old vulnerabilities out there that are still exist, and patches already exist like a few years ago, but nobody's taking the time to install the patches. And there is some cautious to take when you install patches. Some of the patches can cause other issues. I need to say that, but still, it's better to have those issues rather having your entire network being encrypted and you cannot recover because you have a problem with the backup. Now I'm jumping to the last item, and this is the backup. If you really want to recover from a ransomware, one of the ways to foil a ransomware is to have a good backup. And you can ask yourself, okay, what is a good backup? A good backup that you can actually restore from that backup and resume operations. So if you think about it, let's say you have a problem, you cannot access your office because your street is blocked, for instance. Now you won't be able to access the office. How your employees now would be able to get to the office? Can you resume operation? This is without taking into consideration that you have, let's say, floods, maybe weather issues, or maybe earthquake, or maybe a terrorist attack, right? Then the businesses cannot function. This is another point to make about the ability to resume operations. Going back to backups, a lot of people do backup, they do the backup, but they don't verify that the backup actually works. So the backup, okay, I get the green light, it means that I'm backing up, so it's fine. Have you tried every time to restore the data that you have on those backups? I would say that probably 50% haven't restored the data. I know that this is from audits that we do, people don't check that. The last item is password on here on this list. You need to make sure that you have unique passwords for your accounts all over the place. So I know people using the same password all over the place because it's convenient. So we'd find that people using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 digit, and they said, okay, this is a secure password. Or people write password and they change the A to the @ sign, and the P is going to be capital letter and then type 1, 2, 3, thinking that this is strong password because sites now require strong password. So if you comply with that, you're probably safe. Make sure you're not using those kind of easy password to guess, and this is something to mention. A lot of password and accounts now are being leaked. So if you have a data breach, so let's take again this case study with Equifax. Now the hackers have that data. So some of the ways they can use this data breach, the data, first they have the email addresses, so now they can send another campaign of ransomware, right? The other way is to find if your email account is being breached. Now, this data can be found on the dark web where you can buy those databases and use them against you. So now you need to make sure that your passwords are, you change also your password periodically. Let's say every 3 months, you need to make sure that you change your passwords. And the password shouldn't match the, let's say, the email account that you are using, or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever you're using. Make sure that you're using passwords, different passwords all over the place. I know it's going to be difficult to keep up. I'm having the same issue. So we're all in the same boat and we're trying to manage. So just make those changes and you're halfway there. Now, the bottom line here that you need to get serious about protecting your company data, and if you want to make sure that you'll stay in business in the next 6 months. So now you're going to ask yourself, okay, what should I do? And you need to have a cybersecurity program. Now, this cybersecurity program has 3 steps. The first one is to do risk assessment. I would say 50%, even more, they don't do risk assessment because they don't know about it, that they need to do it. They just said, okay, we need to install computers, we need to set up the network, we need to have a firewall, so they install everything. But nobody is really taking care and look at those small details that actually are the big difference when it comes to protecting your data. So in a risk assessment, we go and you check all the settings, what applications you are using, how it's been set up, what solutions are out there in order to detect a network breach. Now, the second step is to have a remediation plan. So we got to the point where we did all the assessment. We know now what's missing. So now now we have a gap. We're gonna fix that gap, do whatever we need to do. And now we're gonna say, okay, now I'm good to go. But actually not, because step 3 says you need to do ongoing maintenance, meaning it's not enough that we fix everything. Now we need to keep up and making sure that everything is in the right spot. Why? Because hackers are changing their tactics. Trends are changed every year, every month. Something new is going on. So let's say today you installed McAfee, and that McAfee is not good anymore because it cannot prevent those kind of data breaches. So now you need to use a different tool. Maybe there's another tool that you don't know that can help you and at least reduce the risk. Remember, it's all about risk management. We are trying to reduce the risk of possible network breach. So how to get started? I have your 5 keys. Since you joined this webcast, we are offering this service, network security service, to our customers, existing customers and new customers. What we want to do, in order for us to provide better services and to improve our services, we are offering free audit for your business. Now you need to know that this is only by application, meaning we're going to need to approve you about your situation. So if you don't have any issues, therefore we don't need to do anything. But if you have, your situation is different, or you have certain things that you didn't think about them until now, and you would like us to come and check it, we'll do it free. So what you will get, you'll get a scorecard that telling you what you need to do is basically this is a remediation plan. So we're going to do the risk assessment. We give you a remediation plan. What we'll get in return, we'll know your current pain points, and then it will help us to mold and optimize our offering cybersecurity services to our new customers and existing customers. The last thing, we don't need to sell you anything. We don't want to sell you anything. So this is just the way it is. We're going to do, we're going to give you, we're going to ask you some questions. We're going to check a few things, and we're going to come and give you the remediation plan. So before you leave, make sure to sign up. This link, the tosecure.biz/appointment. You go to that link, you put your information. We'll review that application, and then someone will contact you. Probably it's going to be me. I'm going to interview you to make sure that everything is current and to understand your specific situation. Once we finish with that interview, we're going to approve the application or reject the application. Also to mention that seats are limited because now it's open, but at some point we won't be able to take everybody. So if you want to get started now, you need to go now and submit your application, because we're going to process you first, and we want to make sure that we'll have time to ask all the questions, get all the information, and give you the remediation plan, and then you can decide however you want to do with that remediation plan. You can even throw it to the garbage or burn it, do whatever you want to do with this, or give it to your IT company or IT guy and do something with it at least. I hope you all enjoyed from this webcast. Hope to see you again. We're going to notify everybody when we have another webcast. So thank you very much for joining. Hope you enjoyed it. And also, by the way, we're going to send the free offer, the bonus by email. We have your email address. If you sign up and we have your email, we're going to send you the policy. And also, you can go and download my free book at truesecure.biz with that URL, and you'll get a PDF and we're able to read it. So thank you everyone for joining. If you have questions, you are welcome either to email me or call me. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I appreciate your time. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.